Buyer's remorse is up. It's pretty high now, too. And Kim Costa is here with us from Atlanta Fine Homes, and author of Wheelhouse. Kim, you have been taking a deep dive and look at buyer's remorse, and that's what your book is about. Tell us about your findings and what you're seeing out there.
Well, it's been a busy year, busy 2 years for everybody. And
Yeah,
with that has come people making quick decisions. And more than ever, the studies are saying that up from 52% of buyer's remorse is normal. I mean, everybody does it, especially with a super big purchase. But now it's
right.
even higher at like 72 to
Even
82%.
50 seems high.
Yeah, it goes away if if they're just kind of worried I've just spent so much money, it's a new place, and it's kind of normal. But if
Right.
you've done your job as an agent from the very beginning about like really doing a deep dive into why they want to move, what's wrong with their current house, what kind of lifestyle changes have happened,
Hmm.
then and you keep them on that track with their list of wants and needs,
Right.
they'll get over that little bit of buyer's remorse, like maybe they miss a couple of neighbors or whatever. So it's a trade-off, but usually it's for the better.
Well, and this is why I wanted you to have you on the show because I mean, your book goes into all of this, but you have a process because for like, we'll call it like a buyer consultation, or you call it the deep dive, because that is going to be more important than ever in the future. Do you agree that we do this with buyers?
Absolutely. And I think too that some people are going to have a bit of time to really think about this process.
Hmm.
And that's why I'm writing the book, is that, interest rates are going up. People have spent money on their home. They may decide to stay put for a couple of years.
Well,
Because
people are staying longer in their homes.
yeah, and they may have to if they've got a 2.5 or 3% interest rate and it's up to 8,
Yeah.
they may think twice about, doing anything anytime soon, and they'll have a little time to do this deep dive.
Well,
So,
I want to hear from you on like how we handle buyer's remorse, but what do we do in the beginning stages to like make sure that we are helping our clients fully and that they understand fully what they're getting into?
yeah, sure. So this kind of naturally came about where the wheel of life, it's like a self-help tool, and it's something I used when I was going through life transitions. Then after I was a real estate agent for several years, I started noticing a trend. All of my clients, when they were making a decision, I would say, oh gosh, that's a career finance decision. So there's 8 areas. It's finance, health, environment, entertainment or fun, like what you like to do, your career, your
Hmm.
romance or your partner, family and friends, and spirituality or growth, like
Okay. Yeah.
coming to rescue.
Yeah.
So every time people would make a move, I would say, oh, wow, it's because of their career and their dad needs to move in. So it's career and family, or
Right.
they got a pet, or,
Is it
they've,
always like more than one of those eight?
usually it's 2 or 3,
Okay.
with one of them being like, oh, we have to move because of this.
Yeah.
But I ran into somebody recently at a writers conference that made the decision to move for a bigger house for her family, but she ended up she had bad knees, and she ended up with a master upstairs because they loved the pool. And
Oh.
they're like, oh, that'll be fun for entertainment, but she didn't consider her health. She
Oh,
wasn't my client. She was in South Georgia.
yeah.
So I was like, listen, do the deep dive, consider these 8 areas.
Right.
So I take the client through a series of questions and just listen to their conversations as we're talking about the hot buttons, like, what exactly the reasons why they're moving out of those 8 categories.
Mhm.
Sometimes there's stuff that pops up that they haven't expressed to me,
Right.
but I'm hearing it.
Yeah. Or that
Yeah.
they haven't thought of or considered was a big deal, but
Yeah.
because we as real estate agents know the process and
Mhm.
we do this every day, we can like, I imagine, highlight some of those things.
Right. Or if they fall in love with the house and you see something that they haven't thought about, and it falls into a
Like
potential
it's
problem.
3 floors and they
Yeah.
can't walk. They're not very mobile. Like
Yeah.
that.
Like,
Yeah.
does it have an elevator?
Right.
So, so like you make your list in your head or on paper as their realtor, but it's important for them to really do the deep dive into what would be the house for them.
I kind of
led
find
by
too,
you.
if you just like ask people what they want, it's more of a regurgitation
Yeah.
of what they think they ought and should be saying and what they think they might want,
And what
especially if
everybody else
it's
is
like,
doing.
yeah, especially, yeah. And this could be even people that have owned several homes. It could just be that. But when you
Mhm.
start talking to them, and I like how you've, in the 8 areas, it really allows like for specific questions about those 8 areas. What is the one area you find that people have the hardest time figuring out?
Of all of them, I would say environment. Like, is it close to work? I've had
Mm,
people wanting it to be close to walkable to synagogue, close to their church. Like what kind of
love that.
environment? Not just the house, but like
The neighborhood, the
the
area.
neighborhood, the schools, is it in a flood zone? All that stuff.
That
And so,
actually would be really hard because, like, I don't think you kind of know. Like, maybe you have in your head, like, oh, I could, like, for example, I could, maybe I had thought, like, hey, I could live in the suburbs. But, like, I literally moved to the suburbs and, like, every day I would have, like, I would feel nauseous and I had, like, a rash. Like, I
oh,
can't live in the suburbs. I have
oh,
got to live downtown.
no, that's so true. And there was an example I heard recently of a person who inherited their aunt's home out in the country. Beautiful old
Yeah.
home, right?
But
But like, makes sense financially.
yeah,
Like, it was my family. It was given to me. Of course, I'm going to move to my aunt, whoever's
right.
home in the country. But they love the arts. They like museums. They really need to be in a condo in the city. So the
Yeah.
environment, it just didn't make sense for them. So really, perhaps sell the home, unfortunately, or work out a deal with somebody else in the family, because girl, you belong in the city with all the
Right.
people that you love. And
Right. And all the activities you love to do.
yeah,
So the book, it covers these 8 areas and like the questions to ask, I assume. Okay.
specifically. So part 3 is an assessment in each area, that was the questions that you ask yourself. And really the book can be given to husband and wife, partners, people that are going to be living together,
Yeah.
because they may have different answers. And
So
that's
as the
important.
agent, we can like offer this as like
A
here's
pre
a guide.
Yeah. And it's not going to be very long. It's going to be, long enough so that if they want to read it on a Tuesday, by the time they go out on Saturday, they should have some answers.
Yeah, just help them understand themselves. Now, I do want to get into like what are the tips for handling if a client does have buyer's remorse? Like what
Yeah.
wait, new
Well,
phone, who dis? Do we do
this
that?
is,
No?
yeah, this is fresh. This is fresh. So right now I closed on a home today and we're putting it up for sale Thursday. It's going to be
Oh,
coming soon. Staging it, putting it up for sale.
that's
They're
really
gonna
fast.
I mean, it was, we decided a little bit ago, it's a new construction, that
Okay.
they would go ahead and sell it. And it was a health finance reason. So again, I'm
Yeah,
categorizing in my head,
right.
but we have these discussions with them and run through everything.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, they're going to make a profit. So
Okay, good.
in this market, this is the second one this week that I've done this way, both, luxury homes.
Uh-huh.
They're making a good profit on it. But when this market starts to shift, who knows, it may or may not be the case. So really the way that we deal with it is take the phone calls,
Mm-hmm.
sit down with them, go to coffee, run through
Mm-hmm.
the lists that you went shopping with,
Right.
to make sure to remind them that this was, this is what
This
what
is
you
the one they
wanted.
wanted. Yeah.
And then talk about what things, maybe it's a noisy neighbor, like neighbor next door cuts his yard at 6 a.m. Like, figure out
Could he cut yours? And
why
then
do you
maybe it
make
works.
it deal, make them cookies, have them cut your yard.
Yeah.
No, but figure out a possible solution. But then really they can sell, they can remodel, they can rent it out, or they
Yeah.
can stay put and make a plan.
Yeah.
Those are the
Those
four
are the
options.
options.
And
I
you have to talk about it.
Hi guys, Monica Weekly here. You know how you're supposed to post about real estate every single day on Facebook? Yes, you do. And the reason is if we don't remind our Facebook friends what we do for a living and how we help people, they will forget about it. We know it's our job to inform, educate, and demonstrate what we do for a living. Well, I'm coaching agents all around the country, and they understand that, but they're not doing it. And I ask them, why aren't you doing it? Probably just like you. And they said, Monica, we don't know what to post. Can we just borrow your stuff? Because I love creating Facebook posts. And these can often be used over on Instagram as well. So I said yes, and people were borrowing my stuff. So I created finally a product that you can sign up for free. It is free, guys. There is no reason for you not to sign up for this. It's ghostposter.com, GHOSTPOSTR, no E in there, just TR.com. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a Facebook posting idea to your email every single day. So not only do you have this great idea, but you've been reminded, oh yeah, I need to post. And that's Monday through Friday. And if you don't love the post or you think, gosh, I'd like something else, well, you're also going to get access to a library of over 600 different posts for you to choose from by category. You're going to love it. Go sign up, ghostposter.com. Don't waste a minute. And then be sure to join the private Facebook group. All right, I'll see you in there.
What about, I imagine though, I did not realize it was that like over 50% of the time.
Yeah.
And so it seems like there'd be a component to prep them that this is going to happen.
Yeah. Talk about it.
Now, what are some tips for when they haven't closed, but they're through contingencies?
This has happened to me as well recently.
hence the book.
The book. This is like a chapter in the book. I think the biggest thing is, hey, we're under contract. I mean, and we all know how this was $34,000 of earnest money. This was no small piece.
Yeah.
And we were out looking at other homes and I was mortified.
Oh my God. It's so nerve-wracking. Oh,
and it was like, my heart was aching, but I wanted them to be happy. Right.
Yeah.
Now, a side note to this is if they had chosen a different home, I actually would have made a bunch more money because the home they loved was at a lower commission. So, I mean, for me, but I wanted them to be happy. But I said, listen, we went and saw the house that you loved. We didn't get it. Now it's back. You're under contract over here. We've been looking. Let's go to coffee.
They had already seen that house and then
they
it
had
was
seen
gone.
it, and then it's back.
And then it came back.
We also looked at a few others.
Okay.
And I just wanted to just sit and talk about, is this just fear? This is a huge decision. Is this fear? Do you feel like you're going to be missing out? What do you feel like you're going to be missing out on? And let's address that. So we went to coffee and we talked about the market and we went through the 8.
Yeah.
And then we went through with the house that they wanted and they love it. It's a great fit for them.
Great. I like how you were open and willing to ask the hard questions, right?
Yeah.
And you know what their options are, but for agents that don't know, they can find out, right? So I think it sounds to me like step 1 is like, find out what the options are really, so that you have a basis of the direction you have to move depending on what they choose.
Yes.
And then step 2 is just really dive in.
Yeah. Get into the nitty gritty. Don't be afraid to ask the questions. And I mean, sometimes we fear what the answer's going to be. Like maybe we can't solve the problem.
But it's what it is.
It is what it is. And we do the best we can. And we provide information. This is the way I like to do it. We provide information about, these are your options, plan A, B, C, D.
Like, what do you want to do? Here's the ramifications
don't
of
decide
everything.
now. Go home, think about it, talk with your significant other, whoever else is involved in this decision. And let's talk about it again tomorrow.
Right. Sleep on it.
Sleep on it.
Look, everything can be solved with a glass of water and a nap. That's what I figure.
Yeah, or a glass of wine.
Bottle. Wine requires a bottle.
Yes, that's true.
Water's just, have you ever had it where, well, actually two points. One, this is why doing the assessment ahead of time and having the consultation ahead of time is so critical, because us as the agent, like, you can be confident that you helped them find exactly what they said that they wanted. Now, things may have changed, right? but you are confident that you did what they were asking you to do, right?
Yeah. Yeah. And took the time to walk them
To
through.
figure it out. Yeah.
Sometimes there are unrecognized things,
Of course.
like unrecognized desires, like, well, I hadn't thought about that.
And they may not know until they get into a few houses or whatever, right? And then they may be worried to bring it back up until they're like crunch time and they're like, oh crap, this isn't going to work.
Yeah.
All the more reason to be asking the tough questions, like you had mentioned before, you know, the whole along the way to make sure that this is right. Because if more than 50% of the time they feel some type of buyer's remorse at any time during the process, we want to like alleviate that and squash it as fast as possible, I imagine.
Yeah.
Have you ever had it where there's remorse, but they're mad at you?
No, not that I know of.
I don't think I've had that either, but I'm trying to think.
You know, not that they've said like,
It's possible.
Because like when you go to coffee and you want to talk about it, like walking in, you're like, could I have done something?
What
Could
did
have
I
done
do?
something
Yeah.
better? Could I have uncovered something? What changed? Did something change, or did we not talk about something? Or, in my case, I don't push people to make a decision. I mean, maybe, I'm not very, I lay things out pretty clearly, and I'm like, okay, well, and we had to, because this house is going to be gone.
It's going to be gone, right?
You got to make a decision. So,
well, and especially if they've already lost one, right? Then it's like,
several,
okay, do you remember what happened last time? Do you want this?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, I don't know. Not necessarily to push to make it. Well, it is push to make a decision, because it's like, if this is what you want, here's an option. Do you want to buy this house?
Yes.
What would you buy this house for? Oh, you hate it? Okay. Why do you hate? Like, what's your advice on asking those tough questions so that you're building that trust, you're building confidence in yourself, you're building confidence in them with you? What's your advice for that?
It's an interesting balance of being patient and listening to them.
This is why I do sellers. No.
Asking you got to ask a few questions. You really have to listen. You have to listen to, and more like if there's two people involved in the sale, you have to listen to them talking and just be quiet, because you'll pick up on things.
Yeah. What about when there's competing priorities of the two parties?
That's a tough one. That, again, because you have people like, he likes this one, she likes this one, they like that one. And you have to, in that case, I'm like, okay, here we like the yard and the neighborhood, and here we like the walkability to the restaurants, or whatever it is, that the two different people. And a lot of that boils down to their personalities.
Sure.
And so then if this one's an introvert and that one's an extrovert, then maybe you find the compromise house where it's got some quiet space for the, a library for the more introverted one, whatever their personality is.
Yeah.
You gotta try to have a compromise, because then you don't want to, like a year down the road, somebody's unhappy.
Yeah, that's no good.
That's never fun.
I can see though, going back to the assessment, and it's like, okay, let's go back and let's like review this house based on what we originally said. And I like your question, like, did anything change? Yeah. Okay, then this house, it meets a majority of the criteria. Do you want to buy this house?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's very true. And I mean, sometimes there is a house that comes up and you feel like it's perfect. It's the perfect compromise, but then you have to get them there.
Yeah.
And, with the limited inventory, it was tough, because you could not really find all the time something that met most of the criteria.
Yeah. Like, you're lucky if you get one, which is probably that's contributing to the increase in the buyer's remorse. Cause it's like, this is not what I wanted. And it's like, yeah, but you had to move and this was your choice. So now we've got an option, we got to figure out what we're going to do.
Yeah.
Well, Kim, if people want to kind of get in your world, get a copy of the book, get a copy of the assessment, like give these books to their clients and make a part of their process, what is the best way? Or if they have a referral in Atlanta.
Right. Yeah.
Hey.
Yes, yes. So the best way to find me would be on my website, lifestylefoundations.com.
Okay.
And on Instagram, for those of you who love social media, I am at Kim E. Costa or Kimmy Costa, KIMECOSTA. And I answer everybody that makes a comment or messages me. So
Awesome.
I like to engage with people, other agents and people with questions.
Well,
So
I appreciate you being on because this consultation is going to be more and more critical as the market shifts.
oh
So
yeah.
I think people need to get, and I think there's a number of agents that don't yet have this skill set, and using your tool of the assessment, I think will really help them gain the confidence and really help them help their clients get clear. So I
Yeah.
appreciate you bringing it.
Oh, I'm excited to share it. Yeah.
Thanks, Kim.
Big fan. Thank you.
Bye.
What we need right now is a source for great leads, and I found it. It is called Pipeline Pro Tools. So about 90 days ago, I booked a demo with them. And in that demo, we reverse engineered my business. We figured out how many leads we needed to get in order to get to the closings that we want. And they gave me a playbook to use in order to get that. So I've been using it for 90 days. We've gotten 12 qualified leads, and about half of them are already under contract or closed, which is great. And it is right now my number one source for my best leads that I'm getting. I love this thing. I'm about to ramp up the number of leads that I get with them as well. So, and you might think it's expensive, and it's not. So I was looking for something that's very inexpensive, like affordable to everyone, but also generated great leads. We don't want crap leads. So what you do in order to get this, because I called them and I wanted to partner with them because I was like, this is exactly what our audience has been looking for. So they set up something specific just for us, just for Fight Club listeners. So you would go to pipelineprotools.com/Fight Club. And then you go to the demo, and the demo will show you how many leads you need in order to get the number of closings that you want to get. And then they will give you the playbook that I'm using, my number one playbook for getting leads. And then you can use it too, and we can have happy closings. So go to pipelineprotools.com/Fight Club, book and go to the demo and get all the leads.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.